Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to my second video. Wanted to do a real quick one here on the Casio World Timer. There's not a ton of information I'm going to be able to tell you that you can't find online, but I did want to provide you just a good visual of the watch, kind of maybe give you some angles of my little thoughts on this piece. I think it's a great watch, and for value for money, I think it's really going to be hard to beat. But for those who are looking for a great everyday piece, I really wanted to bring this one to your attention. Now, as I mentioned, this is the Casio World Time. I'm going to put the model number in the description below, so I don't have to go over that and bore you to death, because I'm not going to remember it, and you're probably not going to remember it as well. This piece is affectionately also known as the Casio Royale, as the nickname that has been given. The reason for that is it does bear a striking resemblance to the Seiko worn by Sir Roger Moore in the lovely Bond film Octopussy. That piece, and I'll actually put the reference for that one below because it's long and forgettable. But the layout is very similar to that watch. I wouldn't go so far as to say they ripped off the design, but if you take a look at it, you'll definitely note it's got the silver case, it's got the black border around it. It's got this disc here, informational disc, the time down below, and then a couple of little sections on there. So again, I wouldn't say it's a ripoff, but you can definitely see they may have taken at least a peek at it. I've been aware of it when they designed this piece. So if you go on eBay or something, you can probably find one of those old Seikos. They're pretty expensive, and I know the modules on them are going to be harder to come by if you need to replace it if it's not working right. So if you want to be kind of like Bond on a budget, this is going to be a great one to go with. The reason I say this is a budget piece, this is a $30 watch. I got this one off of eBay. Actually, I apologize, I got it out of Amazon. But there are several other colorways too. So if you like it, you can get it in multiple colors, and you're not going to have to feel too bad about it. It does come in all black. I've seen green with a black border, and I think there's a few other colorways as well. So even if you don't particularly like the two-tone color like this, there are others that can satisfy you if you're looking for this watch, but in another presentation. This is an extremely well-fitting watch. The measurements on it are a bit larger than I would have thought, but the case size I measured from here to here, about 44.5 millimeters. I measured from lug tip to lug tip at about 45 millimeters. Got about 12.5 millimeters thick, and I've got lugs of 18 millimeters. Now, this is a little bit smaller than what you typically see. A lot of watches you're going to usually see about 20, 22 millimeters, somewhere right around there. Nothing wrong with 18 millimeters, and you can see they even made the bracelet extend a little bit further past that. I didn't measure the thicker part of the bracelet here to see how long that or how far that is, but even despite the 18 millimeters, it still works pretty well. Some of the great things about this piece, it is a quartz piece. One of the things that the Casio has really done a great job of is the battery life on this. Batteries aren't that expensive, but this is supposedly going to have a 10-year battery, as you can see right there on the bottom of the case. If you're somebody who really wants a watch they can just grab and go and not have to worry about it, this one's going to really fit that bill. In that regard, you're not going to have to worry too much about waking up one day and having it dead on you. It does have some really cool features on there that make this a robust piece and something that really anybody could probably use. It's got 100 meters of water resistance to it, so you can take it in the pool, you can get it splashed, you can keep it in the rain, you don't have to worry about it dying on you there if you're doing the dishes. It has 5 alarms, as you can see. They are very proud of that. They even put it on the dial. I don't know who needs 5 alarms. I don't need 5 alarms. I hate alarms in the first place, but if for some reason you need 5 alarms, you've got them. It will simultaneously keep track of several different time zones. I think it counts 4, as a matter of fact. So that's my time right now, and you can even see it switches the time zone here on the world map up in this corner. I think it's kind of cool. So you got London time right there. You've got Paris time, and it even tells you which time zone is tracking. So that's time zone number 4. So you get friends that are in other time zones. Say you do a lot of Zoom calls, meetings, or you just want to call or text somebody and want to find out what time they're in, you can keep track of it here and make sure you're not calling at a terrible hour. This watch is kind of fun in the fact that you can actually modify it if you have the I'd say guts to do it and the know-how to do it. What I've seen some people do is they actually will take the case back off, they'll remove the module, and they will actually put colored screens over these different information boxes, give it some color, green here, red here, and just kind of makes it a little fun if you get tired of the say drab, but some of the straightforward, stainless. And I say stainless with tongue-in-cheek because this is actually plastic. This isn't a stainless steel case. This is a plastic case. The bracelet is stainless steel. You can see that there in the camera. But the case is plastic. So if you want a little color to it, definitely you can do that. And some people will actually sell these pre-modified. I think I've seen a few on Pinterest and Etsy that will do it. It's totally up to you if you like that, but I don't think I'll ever do that. I don't think it's worth the time to do that. So this is again, this is a plastic case on here. It's $30. You really can't expect too much else. The bracelet, as I mentioned, is stainless steel. It's actually not too bad. Sizing it is a little bit of a pain in the butt. You will basically need to put a tool, typically like a small screwdriver or something in there. And you can see the arrow. If I can get this thing to focus, you can see the come on, man. There we go. You just put something in there, and then you kind of kick this little piece out, and then you can size it there. It does come with some micro adjusts, so you can get a good fit. It's got a fold over clasp. There you go, stamped Casio. As you can see, I've got some scratches on it. I wear my watches; they get scratched up. I don't care. That's part of the charm of it. And then you've got a little button to point there. So one of the things that I like about this as well is, despite the 18mm strap, lug width, I don't have a whole lot of 18mm straps, but it's actually not too difficult to make your own. So what I actually have here, I have a cheap 20mm strap that I got off eBay. I thought it was going to be a little better quality than it was. It wasn't, so I really didn't care too much about sacrificing it. But if you can see, I actually trimmed a little bit off the sides. And there you go. Trimmed about 1 millimeter off each side, so that when I take the bracelet off, I'll move that out of the way, it actually fits in like that. And I think it actually looks pretty good. You can actually see some of this on my Instagram, this particular piece with the strap on. I thought this looked pretty snazzy. As it's getting warmer out here in Florida, I did go back to the bracelet, and then I even put it back on this NATO. Now, this is a NATO that I did modify as well. I actually cut some little sections in here, that way it can fit the 18mm lug width. This is a 20mm wide strap, and I actually cut the strap there so it fits. And you can see on here, it's going to look, if I can get it to, there we go. There you go. And if you just kind of imagine that. And again, you can see this on my Instagram as well. I think I've got another picture of this particular piece on this strap. But cheapo strap, you can make your own. Now, there are some aftermarket straps made specifically for this watch. I think Vario makes some that look pretty cool. There's a few rubber straps and all. I may look into them. I don't know. But, it's kind of funny when you're buying a strap that's pretty much the same cost as the watch itself. So if you like the watch that much, great. You have options if you want to explore them. What are some of the things that I, particularly not too crazy on? Not too many, but there are some. One, you can see it's got these, I guess these are supposed to be screws, or they're supposed to look like they're screws or rivets. These are nothing. These are just put into the case by Casio for whatever reason. They felt they needed this. I don't think it's really necessary, but you know, I think they could have done without it. Seems a little cheesy in my mind, but you know, whatever. It's $30 watch. Also, you might have been able to see some of the viewing angles on this are not the greatest. Like if you look at it straight on, and I apologize, I think the camera I think is picking up some vibration, at least through my lens. But you can kind of see it looks great there, and then when you're looking at it straight on, it's not that as bad as it looks in my camera view, but you know, it does tend to lose a little bit, and that's not uncommon with quartz digital watches, but it is something that's noticeable. And then lastly here, let me get it back to the regular time. Lastly here, you can see where they put the case together. It's got a little bit of a line here that I don't know if they really wanted to spend more time on finishing that to make it look a little more clean, but yeah, you can definitely see that line on there. So again, $30 watch. What can you do? And lastly, let me show you the case back there. You can see the information on it, model number, stainless steel, water resistance to 10 bars, and it's made in China. Many of the big watches that we see out there are actually made in China. You know, big brand companies have a lot of components made in China. That doesn't mean anything that's too negative unless you're really that against it. Let me go ahead. I'm gonna take my current watch off, the Alpinist. I'm gonna take this bad boy off, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like on wrist. We're gonna look at the backlight, and then we'll be finished here. So there we are. I have a 6.5-inch wrist. I have small wrists, and you can see this thing looks, you know, fits incredibly well in my opinion. It's really light at the size, the thickness that it is. I haven't worn this with a suit, but you know, it should slide nicely under there, especially with a little bit of an angle on it. But I think it's just a fantastic watch, and if you're looking for a grab and go watch, you really can't do much better for the value. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the light, and I'm going to show you what the backlight looks like. You can see there, it glows nice and bright. Doesn't stay on too long. I don't know if you can adjust that or not, but you can definitely see it's got a great backlight there. So if you need it in the dark, you're good to go. And no worries there. Last thing I wanted to say, as I was thinking about it, it's got a plastic crystal on it. This is not a mineral crystal or anything. It is straight plastic from what I can tell. I don't know if you've been able to see, but there is a couple scratches in there. That is going to happen. I'm not too worried about it. If it gets scratched up to the point where it's not legible, you can always use Polywatch and get that nice and polished up, or you can just buy a new one. You know, it's not too big of a deal. Anyways, I actually went a little bit longer than I thought I was going to on this. But if you have any questions, let me know, and we'll talk to you on the next one. Take care.